Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the Super Metroid multi-category extension tournament. It's going to be a race between ProfessorSchool and kashmod round 2. In case you missed it, they just finished an all-bosses run in which the professor won by a very, very small amount. It was an amazing race. Definitely check that out later. I am joined on comms for this next 69% race by Glove. Welcome, and thanks for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited. I was in chat for the last race, and it was really awesome to see. 69 is a super neat category too that everyone can do just a little bit differently. So I'm really excited to see this. I'm not sure if I think I caught like one of Prof's 69 races. I'm not sure if I've seen Cash run this category though.
I don't think I've seen either of them.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what route to expect. And in this category that is relatively new and not heavily optimized yet, I don't think, what route someone's going to run.
Yeah, absolutely. Usually some kind of KPDR variant is a fairly safe bet. But even within just like the quote unquote basic KPDR route, there's a ton of variations you can do. A lot of different options you have. So we'll have to see what these runners want to go for specifically.
All right, and they have started. 69% for the uninitiated. This is a category extension tournament after all. We don't run normal categories, we run the weird ones. So we run 69%, pick up 69% of the items, and finish the game. Why 69? I think you know.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice category. Yeah, it is. It is kind of funny, in a tournament with categories like North Korea percent and Nintendo Power percent. This one's really just what it says on the tin.
Yeah, it is. It's now that you mention that, we are a very serious community. We run
Yeah,
North Korea percent and 69.
yeah. One of the, one of the few categories this tournament where it actually does make sense to have that percentage symbol in the name. All right, but we are off in the series escape. As we all know, series escape numbers do determine the winner. So this is pretty important, I would say.
That could not be more true. Cash is pulling ahead through the tile room. Neither of them got that tile boost, so I don't know. Might be Fs all around for them.
45-16 from Cash, and the
All right, that's not an F.
43-41 from ProfessorSchool. Nice showings from both runners. Those times. I mean, I would keep either of those times for a run, honestly. But for runners of this caliber, that 43 especially might be a little bit lower than what Prof would normally want. But you just have to play series a completely different way in a race setting. There's
Yeah,
just
whatever
so much
happens,
RNG.
happens. It's
Yeah.
it's terrible. Chat asks, is there a problem that Prof's timer didn't start? No, Prof's timer's not on because it actually caused an audio problem in the last race they did, so he just opted to turn it off. All right, touching down on the planet's surface. I'm intentionally not pronouncing its name. Somebody will argue with me.
That'll be me.
Prof showing off the parlor moonfall. And the climb one. kashmod
Mm-hmm.
deciding appropriate fall speed, as they call it.
Yeah, Cash is a known never moonfaller.
Personally, I think the appropriate fall speed is however quick you can get her down there. Her is Samus.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Moonfall because I'm a zoomer and I just got to start the game after Moonfall had been discovered. So playing the game with Moonwalk just feels natural to me.
I learned how to play this game. My first speed run ever was when Garrison still had the world record. But
Wow.
I did not seriously think that I would ever be able to do it, and I kind of just put it on the back burner. I've been a fan of watching these speedruns forever, but I did not
Mm.
seriously start speedrunning it until last year. So I also turned on Moonwalk and never looked back.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, at the very beginning of the game here, we didn't mention it. Our runners did both get the down back in construction zone, which is really obnoxious. In my mind, it's one of those tricks where it's like you can completely have it down, and then you have one day where you don't get it in a single run.
Yeah, there's a couple of early game tricks, at least for me. I don't know about you, but
Yeah. Speaking of early game tricks that can lose you a lot of time, looked like Prof went for a bit of a faster pit room strategy there, and unfortunately had a lot of trouble killing that first space pirate to the right. It's a so many of these early game rooms, you can just lose a lot of time and get really frustrated.
it's true, and because they happen right at the start, it's for a lot of runners, it's where they reset a lot is within the
Hmm.
first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it was interesting. We saw slightly deviating parlor strategies there too. It was probably like a 450 bombs time for prop and like a 55 there for cash. Um, Unfortunately, without a timer from prof, we can't fully sync the results, but I don't think they're too far off.
And Professor getting a 2-round bomb chorizo. Cash looks like the same thing. Optimally, you'd get a 1-round with the right missile drops, but there really is no shame in having to wait for the second volley. It's way harder than it looks.
Yeah, so someone in chat asking where we can get a list of all the categories. If you follow that link to the rules page, that should have all the categories that are in this category extension tournament. The 5 categories that we have are 69, which we're currently racing, any percent all bosses, which was banned or which was raced last round, North Korea percent, which was so tragically banned last round, Nintendo Power percent, which was banned this round, and should Kashmod take this game, we'll see GT Max as the tiebreaker. So all those categories are quite different, I would say. I don't think there are any categories that really feel like any of the other ones here. 69%, I think uh, just about everyone would agree, is the category with the most divergence and the most routing options.
For sure. And Nintendo Power is the opposite of that, where
Yeah.
everybody must run exactly the same route.
Yeah, pretty much the most route diversion you can do in Nintendo Power percent is do you want to go for green gate glitches?
Yeah.
Which, you get both of them, that's like 20 seconds time save. But yeah,
So it makes
our
sense for
runners,
them
yeah,
to. Oh, sorry.
nah, just a very normal start here. I can't fathom a route in which you skip these Brinstar items right here at the beginning. They're
Got
just
it.
so fast to get and so dense.
Yeah, you're coming in here early anyway to get the early supers, and there's 3 more in the room right here. Oh, nice. Nice reverse mock from both runners. That
Nice.
is the hardest mock ball in all of Super Metroid speedrunning, I swear. And they both just got it. Now I was going to say, 69% means that there is essentially 31 items that you can skip. And aside from the obvious spring ball, runners have a lot of different preferences for how they're going to go about doing it. So we're probably going to see a lot of route variation. But the early game, it makes sense to pick up all this stuff. You don't want to have to come back for it later.
Yeah, for sure. Especially since a lot of 69 runners can often prefer just not coming back to Brinstar in general. And the fact that both of our runners are getting this missile outside of Mission Impossible indicates to me that they're probably not returning to Pink Bryn. Like, almost certainly not. Otherwise, you would just want to save it for when you have more items and you're getting Mission Impossible anyway. So we're at the point where we can start to like get an idea of what routes these runners want to do.
I am not as familiar as you are, so maybe you know this. I would think if they don't plan on coming back here, would it be a good idea to pick up the Spore Spawn Supers before coming out?
It really depends. Spore Spawn Supers are actually a lot slower than they appear.
Mm.
Because you have to set up for the glitch, the Spore Spawn skip. Then you have to actually enter the room, and it's two quite long hallways. And the first one is kind of awkward to get through. The ideal way to get into that first room, like after performing Spore Spawn skip, is to like do a wall jump check and then go right. So it's two awkward long rooms. That's 4 door transitions total.
Makes sense then.
Yeah, it's faster than a lot of items. Like, it's definitely one of those on the cusp items where some people will opt to get it.
Okay. Look at that near sync.
However, basically nobody will opt to skip Spazer Beam. Even if you never want to use it, you just would rather immediately turn it off. It's still a pretty fast item to get.
For sure. 69 is still a lot of items. You think, like, it's 100, it's hundo, you just don't need to get as much
Yeah.
stuff. You can skip all the junk you don't need. But then you get into it and you realize 69 is still a lot. So you gotta choose your skips carefully.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see whether people come out of their first attempt at 69 routing going, wow, 69 actually isn't that many items, or wow, that's way more items than I thought. Because I've seen both. Especially, like, you can see hundo runners who are just like, whoa, I can skip everything. And then they finish out their route and they have like 50 items.
I think we've seen some 68s in this tournament.
I believe I'm the only person to have gotten a 72.
72. I missed that one. Oh, that would have been funny.
Yeah.
I think the rules on that one, if they finish with less than 69, the typical rule is going to be 1 minute time penalty per item missed. But if you finish with more than 69, it's not technically a 69% run, but you grabbed 69 items, so I guess you can just keep the time. I think that's what we're going with, is it not?
I forget if you still have a minute penalty for going over. That would be one to confer with the mods. However, in this race, both runners got a very nice crate quick kill. Might have seemed like ProfessorSchool had some trouble there, accidentally falling into the spikes. But that was intentional. Basically, when Samus is in her damaged state, because she is flashing, the game's only drawing her every other frame, and so that can actually reduce lag by a little bit in the crate room. So especially if you're picking up this crate E-Tank, it can often be free time save. As long as you can get back into position for that quick kill.
Very true. And this being 69% and this being a very quick E-Tank to pick up, makes sense to go for those damage boosts. If you can call them that. I don't know what it's called when you take damage but don't actually go anywhere.
Yeah. Just a damage.
Not gonna lie, I was actually waiting for a second word there.
Yeah.
For a minute.
Yeah, I made a funny hand gesture, but you can't see that, so. I love commentary.
Oh my god. So, just like an old route run, They're coming in here, and look at this sink in high jump E-tanks here. They're coming in here to pick up high jump boots. It would not make sense to skip that missile.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically free. Get it?
Yeah, picking up high jump boots saves you time. Saves you so much time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's a reason that we get it in any category where it's not explicitly banned.
Of the major categories, like
Yeah,
the
I mean, I guess
five big
GT
ones.
Classic, you skip it, but that's because you get it later.
I was gonna say it's of the five like major categories that I can think of. Low percent outright says no high jump boots, but every other category will pick them up because they're way too useful. Like right here,
Yeah.
as our runners
Yeah,
are synced
absolutely.
up again, heading into Cathedral. We'll see if they pick up the Cathedral missiles. I expect them to. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's another easy one to pick up.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few safe bets, you know. They almost certainly won't do it all right now, but I do expect our runners to full clear Bubble Mountain at some point.
Differing strats in the Rising Tide room, with Professor going up top. Cash doing the traditional roll through the lava.
Yeah, and followed by differing strats in Bubble Mountain. Prof going for that nice charge shot. Not a Spazer exclusive strat, but a strat that is made quite a bit easier by Spazer.
For sure. I can't do it either way.
Yeah.
I haven't really practiced it, but
Yeah, there are so many ways to go through Bubble Mountain, and none of them are easy. Like, they all have some amount of frustration behind them. Both of these runners making their respective strats look quite nice, though.
yes. Here's another important upgrade for another one that you're going to get in basically any category that doesn't explicitly ban Speed Booster.
Yeah, here at SpeedGaming, we do like going fast.
Not only does Speed Booster let them go fast, it lets them essentially fly. If you're not familiar with Super Metroid or Super Metroid speedrunning, we call it a shine spark. Runners will, at various points in this run, build up speed, and when Speed Booster is fully active, which you can tell when Samus turns blue, you can crouch, Samus will start flashing, and from there, a simple jump will launch her in whatever direction you choose, except down.
Oh no, Cash, unfortunately, just came up a little bit short on that last platform. Double Chamber is an obnoxious room.
Yes, I agree completely. One of those rooms that looks like it should be pretty easy, and then just any number of things can go wrong, either on the way in or the way out, and you end up falling.
Mm-hmm.
Prof is out like it was nothing, though. All right. In routes that pick up power bombs early, you don't have to go through this maze that Prof is in right now, because the blocks that are just above his head are power bomb blocks. Had to say that quick so he didn't trigger the door transition there. And you can just power bomb your way through, but they have not done that yet. They haven't gone up Red Tower or to Croc, so they don't have power bombs. Got to go through that slow method.
Yeah, it is a bit slower. Oh, and we see Prof pre-opening that door. He was completely full on supers, so that's a really good play, because he'll fill up on the cax.
Yeah, I really do like that. That's he does have to come back here later. And when he comes back later, if he doesn't happen to have a lot of supers at that time, well, that just saved him a super missile. So it's really neat. I think we're going to see an Alpha Spark here. There we are.
Oh. Yeah, Alpha Spark. It can be hard to do fast sometimes. However, Yeah, we saw Cash wasn't going for the Alpha Spark. And honestly, I think Alpha Spark is the by far the easiest fast way to go through those rooms.
I actually will agree there. Because if you're not going to Alpha Spark, you have to get through that room without landing in the water, and then a kind of tight damage boost in the bat room
Hmm.
to get through optimally.
Yeah, and due to some red tower frustrations, Cash has actually pulled in the lead.
Yeah, by a little bit.
Yeah, red tower is just
They're
such a powerful room.
oh yeah. They're still in the same room though, so we'll see how long that Cash can keep this up. We are a Fantoon pattern difference away from another lead change. And nice damage boost out, not getting Vile Plumed. And Professor, ooh, almost, but he's fine.
That's, huh. Kashmod doesn't pre-open the door to Hellway.
I noticed that. Kind of implies he's not coming back this way.
Yeah.
So we might be seeing a hint of route divergence as Prof does plan on coming back down. They might be going to, I guess, Gauntlet after Wrecked Ship. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be like Gauntlet and Criteria power bombs. Which would then further imply a Brinstar revisit, because otherwise you would want to do that Gauntlet at the very end of the game.
Huh. And we
It's
did just say that was not likely, so I don't know.
It's possible that Cash just like missed the down input to morph or something, and decided to just save it for later. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. First, we have Wrecked Ship, and our runners will probably be picking Wrecked Ship fairly clean. I certainly don't expect anybody to get like Wrecked Ship E-Tank, for example. That's pretty far out of the way. However, certain items like sky missiles, I would expect just about everyone to get. And Professor School.
ProfessorSchool.
Uh, the unfortunate thing with short charges is like if you miss a short charge twice, then it really feels like it's hard to get back into that rhythm. Like it's almost like I was playing DDR today, and once you've missed one note in DDR, you just sort of have to step back, be like, okay, let me find my place again. And I think short charges can be like that too. You got to just stop, be like, okay, think tap tap tap, or whatever you do to remember how to do the rhythm there.
That's very well put. I like the DDR comparison. 'Cause I was gonna say they're very rhythmic. The taps you have to do the short charges, and if you're off rhythm, well, both runners getting that speedball into the Fantoon entrance, which is really cool. It's not hard, but it's easy to screw up. And kashmod.
Yeah. Speaking of things that are easy to screw up.
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the missed X Factor is just so punishing on Fantoon. Thankfully, this being the category that it is, Kashmod doesn't have the woes of extra power bombs. Oh, that Doppler was not what Cash was looking for at all.
No, wow. And
Like,
Prof missed the opening.
oh no.
By the look of it. Oh man.
Both of these runners
Fantoon.
having some Fantoon troubles.
Fantoon's gonna Fantoon, I guess. But okay, Kashmod is that was a nice backup X Factor.
Yeah, for sure. Nice backup X Factors from both of our runners. But yeah, generally when you see somebody doing a Doppler and actually stutter stepping, they're really trying to get something started. Like, you can 2-round without adding some stutter to your step even. It's a lot, well, not exactly harder per se. It's easier if you're quite good with doing your little stutter stepping. It can give you more of a window. but it's extra inputs for sure.
Yeah. It's a lot to think about, a lot of practice to make that second nature, to be able to do a 2-round Fantoon, so.
Hmm.
Or if you're Emmett, do a 1-round.
Yeah, there are a couple of people who go for 1 rounds. It takes quite a bit of practice to even be able to have reasonable attempts at those.
Yeah, no kidding. I can't believe we are at the point in Super Metroid speedrunning where one rounding Fantoon is a thing.
Yeah. Kashmod there just went for the temp blue attic strat, which is a very difficult strat. It's actually like getting temp blue, and like just like in a vacuum is pretty easy. You just have to unmorph and angle at the same time. However, you have to basically go from entering a mock ball and transition that into a temp blue quite quickly for Attic. It's a quite advanced strat, and everyone messes it up sometimes.
It's all right. Cash got it in the last all bosses run, so we did get to see them do it. And did Cash pick up sky missiles? I missed it. I was watching Professor School.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they did. Yeah, I mean, both these items are like I can't really see a scenario unless you're doing something really strange with like gravity skip, in which you wouldn't get sky missiles.
Makes sense to me.
Or well, I guess if you're going Fantoon first.
Yeah. Now that you mention that, I think I've seen Apathy Duck do that.
Mm-hmm.
And just before heading over to the gravity room, Cash is coming over here to pick up these missiles and probably the reserve, I would imagine.
Yeah. These two items, they can take a decently long time. It really all depends on what you're trying to do. Like, you have to find, no matter what your route is, you have to get some number of items that are just on like the edge of viability. And we do see our first major route divergence here. Prof is not picking up the reserve and the missile attached. Oh, and Kashmod was in almost dangerous territory there. It
Yeah,
is
that.
actually possible to open up that egg that holds the gravity suit in such a way that you just run through it. I've been told it's frame perfect, but sometimes it sure doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, it's happened to me in a race before, and I gotta say, it's the worst feeling in the world. All right, so with that route divergence, it kind of makes it look as though Professor School is in the lead because he's a room ahead. But skipping
Mhm.
those 2 items means, well, we don't really know. It depends on how long it's going to take him to make up for that item deficiency.
Yeah, and interestingly, it does seem like Cash is just going back down Red Tower. So I would assume not opening up the door back to Hellway was just a mistake earlier.
Looks to be the case, yeah.
Oh no!
Oh, suppose they didn't realize that they had done that and surprised themselves there.
Yeah, good quick recovery.
That's the kind of funny things you get to see in a Super Metroid category extension tournament. Is people muscle memorying the wrong thing, or forgetting where they're going, or just making
Yeah.
mistakes and not realizing it. So here our runners are going to go into Meridia, everyone's favorite place for movement.
Yeah, and Meridia is Uh, maybe even like the most notorious area for like route divergences and who wants to pick up what items here. And Cash makes up quite a bit of time over Prof here.
Prof is, yeah, he's having trouble with those short charges.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this is one of the harder short charges in the game. I mean, it does make sense if you're having trouble with it to just go up. You can get a much easier short charge higher up in this room. However, it's one of those things where it's like, if you truly believe in your short charges, any one of these attempts could be the one where you finally recover. Oh
Oh,
no!
wow.
Yeah,
So,
Cash just has to jump for that now.
and makes it, but potentially loses some time there.
Hmm. Yeah, that backup jump from the left side of the room. I think any category that picks up Mama Turtle, that's an essential backup to know.
For sure. Professor School, I don't know if he planned that for his health to run out right there just before picking up the E-Tank exactly enough, but that's pretty cool. Look at these hundo strats sparking back up through Fish Tank. And into Crab Supers. I expect
Yeah.
Professor School to do the same.
Hmm. This should ideally be the part of the run where we really stop worrying about energy troubles. However,
sure.
Dragon can make some things happen with that chain damage.
That is true. It is. For the uninitiated, the standard way of defeating Dragon in most speedruns of this game is to Shine Spark straight into her. She is the only boss in the game that is vulnerable to Shine Sparks, and one of the few boss arenas where it's possible to charge one. So it seems like they planned for you to be able to do that. But there's this weird thing that can happen at the moment of Dragon's death where all four of her hitboxes are active even though she's dead. And Samus just continually take damage over and over and over again every frame. And if you don't get out of there quick enough, that can drain all of your energy, no matter how much you have, pretty quickly.
Yeah, well said. We did see another route divergence here. Professor School picking up Beach, whereas Cash just went straight through.
So Beach appears to be,
Oh,
at first glance... Oh, this happened to Cash last time, too. I was going to say, Beach appears to be the two items that Professor School has routed in instead of Wreck Ship Reserve and the missile that's in that room.
yeah. The unfortunate thing with Botswoon is, if you mess it up, like in my opinion, the deCalled strat is fairly easy to do. But if you mess it up, then the fight gets really difficult. Botswoon the intended way is just very hard.
It's true.
And Professor
And
School
Professor
showing off
School.
just basically a perfect fight there.
That was very well done.
All right, full halfway attempt here from Cash. That
Oh,
looked
here we
really
go.
good. That was a nice down grab. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Oh, you love to see it. It's a
Very
difficult
nice.
spark. Famously difficult spark. Always feels good to get it.
Hmm.
Ooh, Prof bonked that door, I think. Yeah.
Oh, he tried to save it with a regular happy. But oftentimes you're rushing, you're trying to go for the backup, you're rushing your inputs. It's way too easy to bonk the ceiling there.
It's true. It's not a free strat at all. So, just like with the all bosses category that we saw last race, the key on Dragon, Spark. X Factor.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad from Cash. Good opener.
Yeah, not what he wanted, but definitely serviceable. He can probably take this down in 3. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. And there's that. The blue suit that is going to allow Cash to spark back across Coliseum. We'll see how Prof does on his attempt.
Yeah, so Cash keeps the blue suit here as opposed to going for spike suit. Almost counterintuitively, because you're going through more movement. But if you are getting space jump, blue suit isn't nearly as punishing compared to spike suit, just because you don't have to figure out a way out of that room since you have space jump.
Not gonna lie, I am terrible at spike suit, so I never bother trying.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. It is a double frame perfect trick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
nice reverse full happy there from Cash.
I wonder if Professor School will go for spike suit. Strikes me as the type that it would at least try.
You may as well. These sparks do like 4 damage. And unfortunately,
And
again, Prof is
yeah,
having...
Oh, wow. Having a really hard time. I will say, though, anytime in that room to lose your short charges like that, it's probably better to do that after Dragon is down.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, not sure if Cash was actually going for Plasma Spark there, or just doing the duck to kill momentum anyway. Plasma Spark is a silly trick that saves very little time.
But it's so cool when somebody gets it.
I'll grant you that. Yeah, and in categories where you don't already have Ice Beam, we lay that Power Bomb because it actually does damage the climbing space pirates, interestingly. So
Just the climbing ones, though, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, you saw the climbing ones went down in 1 hit, whereas the standing ones still go down in 2. Climbing enemies are interesting in this game.
Yeah, they seem to have some unique properties.
And unique hitboxes.
Oh, true that. If you are just joining us or have recently joined us, this is the Super Metroid Multi-Category Extension Tournament race between Professor School and kashmod. This is the tournament in which we don't do anything normal. It's the vanilla game, trust me. This is the vanilla game, it just doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
So we have 5 very strange categories. I suppose all bosses isn't that strange. 4 very strange categories and all bosses. Glove, is it safe to say North Korea is your favorite of the tournament categories?
Yeah, every time I pick up Gravity Suit, I cry. Yeah, North Korea percent is really neat. 69 is another really cool category though. Everybody has their own slightly differing route, which can lead to some interesting choices made. Stuff like there are even some runners who will go for stuff like Croc. We can see some divergences there. Some runners will fight GT. Some runners will just get screw attack. Some runners will skip it entirely. There are so many different ways, even in KPDR, to have route divergences, and not even everyone sticks to KPDR. The current world record is a Phantoon first.
I actually didn't know that about this category. That's interesting. Makes sense that everybody would have their own sort of unique take on it, though. The items you're picking up require specific movement or tricks to get, and it's a category that really lends itself well to customizing based on your own personal skill set.
Yeah. I believe in this tournament, the vast majority of people do a KPDR 69. Duck might be the only one who does a new route style 69, and I am quite sure I'm the only one who does a KRDP. or KRPD rather, for 69. But again,
KRPD.
yeah, I'm not fully convinced it's faster to do it that way, even with Moondance. But single Norfair is pretty powerful. But yeah, even this, I mean, we've already seen, these runners both doing KPDR, and they've had some pretty minor, but far from insignificant route divergences so far. And a very nice chronic boost there from Cash. That trick is way harder than it looks.
It's true. It looks like you should just be able to. Oh no, I was about to say something different, and then Professor School.
No.
Oh, that's not what he wanted to see.
Oh
Oh my
no.
god.
And then the Fire Gamer coming in from the top rope.
Ugh. Oh, that is unfortunate, but we'll see if he can make it up later. Now, I was gonna say, Chronic Boost is the damage boost to get into the lava dive room, and it looks like you just stand next to the enemy and let it hit you, but the actual set of inputs you have to do and the positioning that you need to be in is much more precise than is immediately obvious. So
Mm-hmm.
it saves a handful of frames, maybe a second or two at most.
Yeah, and I
But it's
imagine
really hard to do.
Cash will not be fighting GT here, and just picking up the screw attack instead.
Yeah, up they go. Exactly right.
Yeah, screw attack is one of those items that maybe theoretically loses you time, but you basically have to play perfect to not save time getting it. For something like this, where you have a certain threshold of items to pick up.
In this room alone, the alternate strat without screw attack would have to be to freeze one of the pirates and use it as a platform to get up.
Mm-hmm.
So screw attack in lower Norfair, I'm not sure if it pays for itself in lower Norfair alone, but certainly it's a very, very nice comfort item.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that a lot of people don't mention about worst room in the game is how much lag that room has anytime you lay a power bomb. And so
Yes.
by getting screw attack, you avoid that entirely.
Yes. Lots of sprites on screen, lots the game has to process, and it is on the Super Nintendo, so not a console known for its processing power. It didn't have that blast processing that the Genesis had.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you ever hear the story behind like the theory of what blast processing is? Uh,
I don't believe I have.
yeah, it was just like something that like one of the programmers had mentioned, I think, for a certain way they had like figured out to display movement or something, and one of the marketers overheard them and decided to just run with it.
And so Sega ended up just inventing a term whole cloth and
Yeah.
convincing a ton of kids that it was a real thing. Ah. Nice pirate room from Kashmod, the two-shot
Absolutely.
kill. And is that a plower house?
Oh,
That's a
that,
bonked plower house.
yeah, unfortunate.
All this talk of Sega Genesis makes me sad we're not seeing a Nintendo Power percent run, because I could just run with that for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, it was a different time for the gaming industry, and they, marketed differently. But I guess now, we have every game advertising ray tracing, something that was originally invented in the 70s.
Yeah. They really think we don't know.
But this is a fairly clean Ridley fight so far from Cash. They're going for somewhat conservative strats, preferring the pogos generally. Pogos are, I would say, easier to execute quickly. Often, however, they are a bit slower than optimal route. What just happened to Prof?
Professor School. Hi, how you doing? Something happened to your video?
Uh-oh.
I hope he's listening, because, well,
I didn't see him take a death, I don't think.
no. Maybe just some kind of technical hiccup. There we go.
Okay. I was like, I don't know where Prof would have taken that death.
all right, back on track.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
really nice Metal Pirate exit from kashmod there, and we'll see Prof do the Ridley fight here. Unlike Cash, Prof seems to be preferring to try to get Ridley to jump up and swoop, but or maybe not.
Yeah. Very nice Wasteland. I mean, just beautifully executed Wasteland there from kashmod. That speedball is really hard to get off of the Wasteland deboost strat. Especially since you can't really do it as a stutter. You kind of can, but you're really risking losing your iframes.
True, it's very, very tight. It's the optimal new route strategy. I suppose it's optimal for old route as well, but old route has other options that are easier to execute and not that much slower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really goes down for Prof. Oh, nice room exit there from Prof. Keeping a little bit of momentum there. Prof is unfortunately running out of time to make up this gap. It's far from insurmountable, and truthfully, I have not been keeping up with item numbers.
Oh, me
So I'm
either.
not sure how much more cleanup they have to do. Based on what these runners have been picking up, I think they both go for Gauntlet here.
I would expect you know this route far better than I do, though, so I'll say, if that's what you're going to say it is, probably.
I'm not saying that with a tremendous level of confidence, but I do believe like they've been roughly even on items. I wouldn't be surprised if like one gets criteria power bombs and the other doesn't or something. But I mean, Gauntlet is 3 items, so I would imagine if one of them is going for it, so will the other. Okay, and Prof is set up nicely for this deboost here. Cash got it earlier as well, but with Prof even landed on the frozen Fire Flea, but ended up falling off.
It is a neat strat to see.
Yeah, Fire Fleas is hard to optimize. And speaking of rooms that are hard to optimize, Cash is here in the Norfair Reserve room, which is just obnoxious.
It's true. Oh.
Yeah,
Every
having
time I have to
these
go in
additional
there.
items helps it out quite a bit.
But even with things like Space Jump and Screw Attack, it's still an awkwardly laid out room with kind of very few methods to get through it well.
Yeah, and a really cool deboost strat there from kashmod, a hundo special.
Relatively new hundo special, eh? It was something developed last year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Is the new strats for Bubble Mountain during the 100% tournament. A lot of overlap in strats between hundo and 69%, with the exception of any spring ball strats, because if there's one item that everybody is going to be skipping, it is spring ball.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no way to make it remotely viable.
It is a shame, because like spring ball, as everybody who uses it a lot will tell you, you can do some really fun things with it that you don't really get to do too often. But you don't get to do it too often because it's so far out of the way. Ooh, interesting deboost from kashmod through the bat room. I don't think I've seen anyone do that one before.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Typically, you would take out one of the bats and boost off the particles, but with Ice Beam equipped, you'd just end up freezing the bat. So it's a neat little, to try that.
Now this is interesting from Cash. I guess they're
Blue Bryn?
planning. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. So probably not Gauntlet then. It would be a little bit awkward routing wise to get to Gauntlet from here. Not the worst thing in the world for sure.
I have completely lost track of how many items they each have, so I don't know if
Yeah.
if they need to go to Gauntlet or not. But they will be going to the famous Billy Mays room. And picking up this E-Tank as well. Fans of the first Metroid game will recognize this room and that E-Tank.
Yeah, I have played the first Metroid game ones of times.
Ones of times. I have gotten lost in the first Metroid game a handful of times.
Yeah, fair enough. I've maybe beaten it like 3 times total. It's a good game. I really like having a map.
Yeah.
And especially, I mean, I've played the original Metroid on RF, and you want to talk about rooms looking the same.
Oh yeah. That's you never know where you are in that first NES Metroid.
Oh wow!
Whoa! What was that?
Ash laid the power bomb just 1 block too high, I guess.
That's not something you see every day.
Yeah.
Professor gonna follow Cash into Blue Bryn, and Cash is charging up a Shine Spark to use in Pit Room. It's fun. Shine Sparks generally only last 180 frames or 3 seconds, but they will follow you through elevators. So you can spend 12 seconds on an elevator and get off the elevator, and Samus still has it charged. Oh. I was gonna say, what does Cash do? Oh, I see. And then...
Yeah.
So, no Criteria Supers.
That's quite interesting. Yeah, the way that Cash did that spark though, I've encountered that issue, and I believe the best solution to it is either don't run all the way forward, or just turn left if you do hit that wall. I think it's something with being right up against that wall. But I honestly wonder, especially since Cash looked like they did bail on that strat. I kind of wonder if that was a backup and Cash accidentally got an item they weren't supposed to.
Oh, maybe. Running so many categories for this tournament, it's very easy to mess up what you're doing, and that was a really cool gauntlet entrance right there.
Yeah, I don't think, I'm not sure going for Gauntlet Spark is actually faster if you have Screw Attack and Space Jump.
I'd imagine the crash animation would play a part in that, but I've never tested it.
Yeah.
Really does look like, I'm assuming their routes are going to be pretty much the same from here on in, so it looks like Cash is finishing up with Gauntlets. This should be 68 and 69 right here, and then Korean entrance is right below them.
Yeah, unfortunately, ProfessorSchool is just about out of places to catch up here. Obviously, Turian is a very high execution section, You know, I think the Metroid rooms are just like the highest execution rooms in the game for the most part. But I just don't really see how Prof makes up this much of a gap.
No, I think it might be asking too much of him. Nevdi in chat saying he finds that the Gauntlet Spark is just a bit faster. So.
Yeah, it's possible that varies from runner to runner. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh no!
Oh no! That's not what he was going for at all. Though he does get that neat little space jump screw attack combo through the room. All right, Metroid rooms coming up for kashmod. Picking up so many items in this run, it's ammo's much less of a concern, but they still only do have 7 supers.
Yeah, this is one of the harder item sets, in my opinion, to do Metroid rooms. Just because you can get quite optimized with these items, and you can't really go for grouping strats if you keep screw attack on.
True, it gets very difficult to group Metroids when they keep trying to run away from you. A little bit of trouble in Metroid Room 2 here, but Ash is still far enough ahead that it's probably not going to matter.
Yeah, I mean, if they're watching the restream, they know that they can take it nice and easy.
Yeah, don't even have to worry about supers here. Normally, you'd start panicking to leave the Metroid rooms with only 6 supers. But with this many missiles, and I just noticed what happened to ProfessorSchool.
Yeah, that's really the nail in the coffin here.
Yeah, we have a forfeit from ProfessorSchool. So Cash just has to finish this out to take the win. That's those crumble blocks are one way. So with Prof missing that missile, and he needs that missile, he'd have to go all the way back through Gauntlet to pick it up. So very unfortunate, but nice baby skip from kashmod.
Yeah, well executed. That not a lot of extra time in that baby skip. That was really clean.
And we saw Cash in the all bosses run do the down back Zeb skip to avoid having to pause the game to turn off screw attacks. So I expect to see that here. I was saying before, super count is usually really important, but Cash has so many missiles that, like... Yeah, there we go.
Nicely done.
So Mother Brain 1 is going to take a lot longer than she normally would, using regular missiles instead of supers, but it's not that bad, to be honest.
Nice speedball there from Prof. Yeah, see, Prof decided to run around a little bit just to show us the cool Terminator strats.
Yeah, Prof has officially forfeit and is just kind of showing off.
Yeah, it was a smart decision to pick up that 230 instead of doing a second pass through Gauntlet. I still get it though. I mean, when you see your opponent that far ahead,
yeah,
and you miss Gauntlet, that's
very
just really
discouraging.
It does mean at this point, we will be seeing a game 3. Will be GT Max. I don't believe they've scheduled the potential game 3 yet, so be on the lookout for that.
So looks like that's still to come. And let's see how Cash does on stand-up here. We call it the stand-up glitch. It's It's a weird thing where you manipulate this endgame cutscene with Mother Brain and the Metroid to gain control of Samus while she would normally be forced into a crouched position. But since you can force Samus to stand up, we call it the stand-up glitch. And... Looks like it was not executed properly.
Cash
I am
is still
not...
fine here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what all the nuances to stand-up are. I've heard the term, if you're gonna do it, know the 5 do's and the 500 don'ts of stand-up. It's an easy one to lose.
Yeah, I mean, doing it like this still saves time. It's just unfortunate. It doesn't save as much time. And I'm sure maybe a little bit scared off from that experience. Cash stops firing charge shots quite early. Another way to mess up the stand-up glitch without totally bricking yourself is what's known as the slow lock, where the game will experience extreme amounts of lag to the point where you start measuring it in seconds per frame as opposed to the other way around. But if you just hold item cancel, you can get out of that.
You can also do it with activating X-ray scope. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
I believe X-ray scope is generally used for like standing up in situations where you're forced into crouch.
Okay.
I'm not sure it can do the slow lock fix. Interesting from Prof here. Again, he has officially forfeited, but
even if he was still in this, there is no way he could finish the game. He's just messing around.
But yeah, as a...
Oh, he says in chat, he's not messing around. Huh. What are you doing then?
Oh, going for Crystal Flash.
Oh.
But he didn't realize he had fewer than 10 supers. I understand now.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Kashmod finishing up with an official race time of 1 hour, 1 minute, and 2 seconds. GG, Kashmod.
GG.
And GG, ProfessorSchool, who put on a good show right up until it's happened to everybody at one point or another, and it'll happen to everybody again. Messing up that gauntlet.
Yeah, GG's to both of our runners.
So that means
like we are joined by Prof. GG.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the comms. Thanks so much.
Yeah, an unfortunate ending to it, but really well run throughout. Like, this is not a race to be ashamed of at all.
Oh, do you really think so? I mean, I lost 1.5 minutes in this race because I couldn't short charge. Like, it was over before I got to Gauntlet. It's very kind of you. I appreciate it, but I think it was I'm extremely disappointed. I can't really speak to how disappointed I am in my performance after pulling out the win that I did in all bosses. It's about as bad as I've ever felt playing this game. It's really bad. But I mean, what I do want to focus on is that Cash just had an incredible race. He ran a 101. Mm-hmm. That's an unreal time. It actually just bopped me on the leaderboard. That beats my PB. Wow. I mean, like, it would have been really nice to have actually been competitive, but I mean, this is exactly what's been happening in the prep leading up to this race. Like, every time I post a time, I go check Cash's Twitch, and I don't know if he sees my times and decides he needs to beat them or it's just a total coincidence, but like every time I've posted a PB, he goes and does a stream for like 60 minutes and then beats my time. So I did my very best to prep for this, and unfortunately, it just didn't go my way. So GG to Cash.
Yeah, and speaking of, we are joined by Cash now. GG.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a pretty good run except for Botwoon. I think everything else was pretty much what I wanted.
Well done. Yeah, I can't think of any other spot that you really got tripped up on there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, ProfessorSchool, man. That gauntlet going down the shaft, that sucks. Happens to everyone.
Oh, it's fine. The funny thing is, it's actually never happened to me in a run before.
Whoa.
But I mean, it's immaterial. I was telling the folks here in the comms booth before. The race was over long before that. I lost 90 seconds to not being able to short charge at Oceanfly and at and I don't know what happened in Meridia.
Yeah, I saw that in Meridia. I was like, man, that's so frustrating.
Yeah, I don't have an answer.
Yeah,
I was practicing this week, and the short charges were starting to fail me at Dragon, and I spent, no kidding, 90 minutes practicing short charges with Shine Tune and Magic Pants to absolutely no avail whatsoever. So I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I swear it just comes and goes sometimes. The ability to short charge.
Yeah.
It certainly happens. We were saying actually that it's very rhythmic, and if you're having a day where you're just off rhythm by even a tiny bit, it's over and over again. Despite having done it a million times before, you just can't make it work. And somewhat unfortunate. Sorry to hear the disappointment in ProfessorSchool. We thought it was still a hard-fought race, so it was nice to see that.
Thank you.
That despite all of the setbacks, it really did look like you were determined to try to find some catch up somewhere, and it never happened. So GG kashmod, that was an incredible time. I'm looking at the spreadsheet that tells us what everybody's qualifying time was, and for those of you out there who may not have this available, kashmod just finished that 101.02. The best time going into this tournament that anybody had was a 58, and the second best time was 101 and 30 seconds. So
Nice.
that was Mr. Guy Average and Apathy Duck, respectively, that had that. So that's an incredible 69% run. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely happy with it.
Yeah, and so this does mean you're 1-1. And I believe the tiebreaker round will be GT Max. How are you both feeling about that?
I've only done 2 GT Max runs in my life, one to get into the tournament and one my last tournament race, so I gotta do some practice.
Ooh, that sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
Prof, what about you? How do you feel about GT Max?
I love the category. It feels a lot like kind of wonky hundo. I think I'm reasonably good at it, but I have no doubt the Cash will pull a rabbit out of his hat and have me on my heels the entire time. So I have no misconceptions about winning this game 3. We'll see what happens.
I'm not gonna make it an easy win for you, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, the notion of thinking that I can win at this point after that performance is kind of funny, but I'll do my best. I will do my best to make it competitive. I promise.
Speaking as a viewer, I can say I really hope you do make it competitive. That all bosses race that we saw earlier, man, I had no idea what to say half the time, because the strat execution in that one was amazing from both of you. And since we haven't actually talked about that, does anybody have anything they want to say about how they feel about the all bosses run?
I just want to say one thing. You need Varia to finish that category. That's all.
I thought I had a chance for a second.
Yeah, I don't know. Duck said this on commentary a number of times and in the Discord. Trying to prep for 5 categories that I've like, other than all bosses, which I guess is kind of similar to any percent, but I haven't touched any percent in 8 months. Like, it's an absolute nightmare trying to keep this straight in my head, like what I'm supposed to do in every room all the time. And I don't know if you saw this or not. It probably was not apparent, so I'll just point it out. When I was just not feeling confident about my down back Zeb skip, and so I went to turn off screw attack, and I sat in that menu for what felt like an absolute eternity. And I'm like, what am I doing in this menu? What am I doing? And I turned off Varia, and I was like, okay, that feels right. And then I was like, no, I also need to turn off screw. And I was like, where is screw attack? I'm staring at my screen. I have no idea where screw attack is. I can't find it. I'm in that menu forever. Finally find screw attack. I turn it off. And then as I'm unpausing from the menu, I'm like, Varia. This isn't 69% though. What am I doing? And I'm going through the next room and I'm thinking, no, this doesn't feel right. And then it occurs to me like, oh, I need to turn that back on. I have 4 tanks. And so I just decided like, I'll leave it off until I get through the fight so I don't try to do some wonky menuing in the middle of like Mother Brain's room. And so, yeah, I got it back on in time, but like, what the heck was I thinking? Holy smokes.
We were talking about that, or at least I was on comms, and chat was joining me with the, it is just muscle memory, it's 5 categories, you do different things in all of them, and we were sending you all of our mental energy as Prof, please realize you need to turn that back on, and you need to turn it back on right now. But turns out you knew the whole time, so that's...
I did, yeah. I mean, if you go back and watch it, you'll see how long I was in the menu just before I entered Mother Brain for the Zeb skip. And that was, like, those extra 5 seconds were me trying to figure out what on earth am I doing? I can't remember what I'm supposed to do here. What category is this? Oh my gosh. I'm so fortunate to have pulled that out.
It made for a very... very intense finish. I'll say that much.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. I have nothing else I wanted to ask specifically. Just GG's to both of you. I am, as a viewer, I'm excited that it's going to Game 3, and I think it's going to be a really good show.
Yeah, so GG, Cash. It was absolutely an incredible race on your part. The stuff you just threw down was really, really, really good. So GG to you, and thank you so much to Comms.
Yeah, for sure. GG to you too. That all bosses run was awesome. All your bosses were very good, so that's what matters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun races. I'm ready and excited for Game 3, and thanks again to commentary.
Oh, thank you for racing.
Yeah, thank you both for racing. Be sure to go follow both of these runners. Go follow ProfessorSchool, go follow kashmod, and if you would be so kind, follow commentary as well. I've been Glove, and I've been joined by McTimothy.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I guess we're going to close this out. I'll say thanks to the volunteers at SpeedGaming who make this possible. I always like to shout them out because they do a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that... I certainly don't know how to do it. I just get in front of a microphone and start talking. So shout outs to them. And thanks a lot, Glove, for joining me on this comm last minute. I went into this totally expecting it was going to be just me.
Yeah, of course. Always a joy to co-comm.
Right. I think that does it for us. So thank you, SpeedGaming 2, for joining us on this very exciting Super Metroid race. We will see everybody next mission.